What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? This is Chris from the Anomalies channel. Okay, guys, you're going to want to watch this video from beginning to end. This is just neat. Basically, I don't know if you guys share your frustration or my frustration, because I share it with you guys, that's for sure. As far as, you know, the lies that NASA's showing. I mean, seriously, NASA, stop lying. Period. Point blank. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean by this. I'm going to show you two comparisons. One, first of all, we're not even going to use Photoshop at all. So the naysayers will love this video. I'm going to show you just pure common sense two comparisons. You guys are going to absolutely love this. And it's just simple. It's just simple. Anybody can look at this and go, yeah, what the hell gives here? So let me show you guys something that is pretty wild. Okay. This is so far where Curiosity is traversed. Okay. Now, I didn't find the other map that I was looking for, and I'm going to show you that, and the reason why I was trying to go over this real quick. This on the bottom here shows a scale of in meters. They actually had one here, it was a mile. And what I did was I calculated real quick, and I didn't do anything scientific as far as this. I just looked at the scale, measured, and went from here to here, and it was approximately about a mile. It's from here to here. Okay, and you're going to see the reason why I did this. Now, this area is supposed to be, all of this area is supposed to be a dried up riverbed from, you know, there to here, all the way up through here. Okay, so this is my problem. Now, there's no actual wall here, meaning just a perfect wall, so you can't tell. We're just guessing as far as distance from here to here. And from right here, which is, well, this was at 790 at the time, but it's at, I think, 792, 793, something like that. I forget what it is now. But anyway, from here to here is not very far compared to here to here. Now, I want to show you something I think is pretty wild. Now, again, I don't care where it traversed from here to this point now. I don't really care. What I'm concerned about is this distance and the one on the bottom from this distance to this dock area. There's a huge difference here. You can see that. See that? Okay. Now, let's do this. So now, common sense would tell you guys, you know, we're closer now. We're supposed to be at the base of Mount Sharp, which is just awesome because I want to see, you know, more. I mean, more and more things are coming out of these pictures, guys. It's like a treasure trove of stuff strewn all over the place. We're not seeing the real picture. And by the way, just give you guys a little tidbit. Wait until you see my next couple videos. It'll show absolutely proof that they're lying and that there's much more here on Mount Sharp than meets the eye. Anyway, so we know which picture's the real deal here as far as being closer. So if you guys picked the picture on the left, you would be absolutely wrong. That's right. You're absolutely wrong. This picture is from Sol 14 on the left, and the one on the right is from Sol 790. Now, for all the people who argue this point, saying, hey, well, you don't understand, man, this is like miles upon miles away, wrong answer. Wrong answer. I just showed you the traverse map where it's approximately about a mile. Now, again, but it gets better than this. Check this out. Let's go back to the map. Because guess what? I was measuring, just taking a rough estimate, from this point to here. Well, here's your Sol numbers. And basically at 14, Sol 14, the Curiosity is basically doing a couple of things. First of all, it's stretching its legs, making sure everything's functional. It's sending data back saying, okay, we're functional, we're ready to rock and roll. Let's get started. And that's basically what that thing does at this point. It'll take a few pictures, but it's still doing systems checks and everything else. And of course, if you guys have been following along, that the redundancy board, they're actually on the redundant mobile board or motherboard on Curiosity rover. The regular or the actual, I'm going to say normal motherboard, but it failed. So they went to the redundant board. So they've been using that one since this mission. So anyway. So now, if you were to measure from this point here to this point, it's further than a mile. Now, at the bottom, it's not so much that far. Okay, so the question becomes, what gives? Why is this one further away now? Now, keep in mind, guys, and I've done this myself, these wheels on the Curiosity are 20 inches high, which comes up to about my kneecaps, because I'm about 5'9". 5'5". I'm sorry, 5'5". 5'8.5" to 5'9". Okay, so now okay, if you figure roughly, okay, kneecaps would be somewhere around here, my hips would be somewhere around here. You know, my torso would be above the actual bed of the actual flat part of the actual rover. Because even to the mast right here, you can see the shadow of it, is 7 feet high. Okay, so you would literally be able to walk over here, la 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 la, boom, and just kick this rock. It's not as far as people think it is. Now, I want to show you some cool stuff here you guys are going to like. Now, let's go to, let's go all the way down to, so just way you know I'm not full of crap here, and that I'm really showing you guys the real deal. This is Sol 14, okay? So, this is it. You can just pick this one right here. Here's your Sol 14. There it is, right there at the top of your screen. 14, front has cam, which incidentally, I also want to make that to make it fair. I did the same thing here. If you see it says front has cam in the left picture on the top, right one also shows front has cam, which is basically around, maybe around the bumper of your vehicle. That's about the height of that. Nav cams being up here on the left would be up on the nav, and the regular mass cam would be up on the actual head itself. So, okay. So, there you go right there. There's 14. Let's get out of that. Let's go to, let's go in the middle. From 0 to 790 would be what? 395. Let's go to 395. Well, overshot that by about 18 miles. Okay. Yeah, let's go 395 just for good measure here. Let's just check out to see what they've got. Because I want to show you this. This is pretty interesting. Okay. Again, look at the distance away. Doesn't appear to be that far, right? Again, people claim that this is miles upon miles away. Now, I want to show you guys something that's pretty interesting. You know, what is up with the light here on the back? They make it look like the sun's like still over the mountain, when in fact it's not. Because if you look at the arm, it would go up over here and then come back down. Up here and then down. So you see the light here and you go, wait a minute. It would look like this part of the arm coming down would look almost correct, meaning if the sun was over here, almost. But keep in mind, if it's that low in the horizon, you wouldn't see the shadow here. This shadow would be up against somewhere past the wheels of this rover on this side. Also, the one going up this way, the part of the arm going up this way, tells me that this sunlight is coming from the top left, shining straight down. And it would also reflect the same way here. Also, look at the actual tool head. It's actually coming down from the top left. Why the enhanced over brightness, over contrasted area over this Mount Garbage? It makes no sense. This, I've been saying this for a long time, this is nothing more than a template that they're literally throwing on top of whatever they're trying to hide. This is the reason why when I pulled this Mount Shop apart many videos ago, that every time I looked at the Mount Shop, there was something different there. It looked like roads. It looked like vehicles in it. It looked like tunnels. It looks like this. It looks like that. Why? Because if they take something that they're trying to hide and you enhance it, you're pulling some of this stuff out of this overlay of this mountain on top of it, this template, so to speak. So this is a crock, okay? So this is what I'm getting at. It just simply makes no sense. And like I said, when you look at this here, you just go, yeah, come on now. Why is this so much further away all of a sudden when they're supposed to be actually closer to it? Did it traverse all the way and then all of a sudden decide to pull away? If this is miles away, why are they driving miles away, for you skeptics? Why are they driving miles away when in fact they should be closer to it? They're at the base of Mount Shop. It's garbage, point blank. Now, I want to show you guys something that is actually really cool. If you go onto the Mars Anomalies research page, and it's Andrew Basiago that actually has this page up. It says his page. I want to show you guys something that's pretty neat. When I did my, enhancement of of Mars, that they had India's mom satellite had up there, and of course it was all orange and dusty looking reddish orange color. When I enhanced it, I actually showed what I believe is true colors of Mars. Okay, now Andrew put this picture up on the Facebook right here. Now, look at the difference in colors. Awful lot of green there, guys. Awful lot of green and brown, green and brown. Now, if you were to read this, now, of course, when I enhance this, it's not very clear. From South Africa, the National Geographic Lowell Observatory Mars expedition last summer took 20,000 photographs of the planet on which life, as we know it, is most likely to exist. Here, Mars, inverted as the astronomer sees it in a telescope, reveals springtime details of the southern hemisphere. The planet appears 2,700 times larger than to the unaided eye. Across 40 million miles of space, the south polar cap, or the top of this, and you can see it right here, right there, it's peaking up because everything, surrounding area would be lower, but look at the difference. You can see the bluish, and you can see the white and the brown and the greens and everything else. Okay, now, the south polar gleams blue-white in sunlight. Icy blue clouds hover above the north polar cap, tilted from sight at the bottom, which, because it's inverted, you're seeing it through a telescope. Okay, millions of acres show green because Dr. Slipher believes a scanty water supply melting from the poles quickens some form of vegetation. What was I telling you guys in the videos not too long ago? That when these poles melt, just like on Earth, they have to go somewhere. The water has to go into rivers, waters, oceans, whatever. Okay, vast reddish ochre, or whatever, it looks like ochre, areas are dusty desert. Now, I said the same thing. What would happen if we were to take 3/4 of the water off here on Earth? What would it look like? Well, you'd see a lot more brown. That's for sure. Now, this is where, I've been saying this, like I said, when you look at this, you can see this blue outer atmosphere, and then you can see what looks supposed to be the blue, the inner atmosphere. I think a lot of this is manipulated to hide what's really here, because I've showed you guys, if you go back to mine, my Mars Has Life, I think it was named, is India basically lying? People will argue this point. I had one guy argue with me back and forth saying, oh, so you hit auto contrast and now you think you see the real colors of Mars. Well, let me ask you a question. Now, let me backtrack just a little bit, because he is right. You are seeing the full spectrum in which these cameras take pictures. I agree with that. No argument. And these colors are blue, green, brown, and several others. Here's my problem. Here's my question. Why, if this planet is supposedly reddish, brownish, whatever, call it what you will, why isn't this brown color in the atmosphere? Why isn't the green colors in the atmosphere? Why isn't the blue down on the ground? I don't believe that. I think we're seeing the real picture, and I think maybe India kind of slipped this out just to show the real deal. I believe so, but you can see now, again, the mom satellite from India is actually orbiting Mars, where this on the left was taken from a land Earth-based telescope here on Earth 40 million miles away. So if there's a difference in color brightness or whether they're duller or brighter, you can understand why. Now, let me show you something pretty wild. You're going to really like this, because if you guys have not seen this, you'll like this. Andrew Bossier, this is what he put. The September 1955 edition of the National Geographic published a NASA image showing a green region of Mars that is about the size of Texas. In furtherance of the cover-up of life on Mars, this green region is always omitted when planet-wide images of Mars are shown by NASA today. So thank you for that, Andrew. We appreciate that. He also has scan courtesy of Trulay. Now, I'm not sure if that's the observatory or the actual person who gave him this picture, but keep in mind, guys, this is what I want you to understand. 1955. This is an independent astronomer taking the picture of this. Now, I'm sure they had some kind of apparatus where they just took a camera and it just snaps onto the actual telescope itself, and then, of course, they take it into a dock room and then, just do the picture, So, yeah. So, the question is, this is, this is before the Apollo missions, before NASA was actually taking, doctoring up their pictures, like their airbrushing or paintbrushing stuff out of the moon pictures. So this is before that time. Now, me personally, I think that's the real deal. I believe wholeheartedly that this is the real deal right here. And what I showed, it kind of echoes it. You got the green, brown, and blue. So for the naysayers, ask yourself this question. Why was this picture? Let me guess. This was all made up too, right? Yeah, you could keep telling yourself that. But 1955, long before then, some independent astronomer takes this picture. And I don't know about you, but I'm seeing several. Now, they'll argue, well, that's because you're seeing a different spectrum. Well, Or is it this that the camera is just a simple camera and it took a picture of Mars? It's not all like we have today, all these different digital cameras and everything's got to be processed digitally and all this other crap. It's just a simple camera. Okay, so they can argue that point all they want, but this is 1955 to the left. This is today's date right here on the right. Yeah. So yeah, I strongly believe that's the case. I think that's the real deal, guys. So anyway, I don't want to make this super long. I just wanted to show you guys these two comparisons. One, yeah, come on, NASA. You're just lying, and it's just not cool. You need to tell the truth. Just the one right here, and then one, to me, makes me happy seeing this particular pictures, and I'm just looking at these things, and I'm going, yeah, look at the difference in time and years distance apart, and you just go, yeah, what's going on here? To me, here's the real deal. I believe Mars is a lot like Earth even today. I don't care if the atmosphere is thinner. People go, well, they couldn't live on that. Why? Why not? And they say, it's carbon dioxide, so on and so forth. It's different from Earth. I get it, and they're right. The thing is, how do we know that they didn't evolve differently than us? That's the first question. Second question, how do we know NASA's actually telling us the whole truth? People go, hey, look, I read it on this page NASA posted, so, you're wrong and they're right. Well, how do you know they're telling you the truth? These are things you should weigh out. These are the things, like in this picture I showed you earlier, this would be common sense. You would think, okay, we're closer to Mount Sharp. This has to be the newest picture. Wrong answer. What gives? From directly right in front of the rover to that point, that's not miles away. This one is not miles away, although it is further from the one on the left. What gives? People have to start opening up their eyes and really checking, just saying, yeah, what is going on here? What gives? That's all there is to it, guys. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to make this super long. I just wanted to show you this. That's a cool comparison as far as I'm concerned, and it just shows you there's no doubt to me that there's life on Mars. These guys can argue this point about the newest picture, what I brought out from the India satellite. Yeah, that's just a light spectrum you're seeing. Well, then why didn't they just show that picture to begin with? And say, guys, this is not the real deal, meaning you're just seeing these things on levels, on different light spectrums, and so it looks like it's actual, it looks like it's actually alive, meaning it has, greenage and, land, trees, so on and so forth, and then it has its deserts and ground and so on and so on. Why don't they just say that? Why don't they just show it? Why? Because people would immediately say, well, it looks like just like Earth. They don't want to have that, so let's change it all to brown. Come on, man. And when you go back to a picture that was taken in 1955, I know you'll debunk that too, but that's okay. You can do what you want. But the other one picture showing about Mount Sharp, come on. And I just wanted to make a video showing no Photoshop. You can't pull that apart. This is pictures from observatories and the other pictures like from what I just showed you, the comparison here of Mount Sharp. This is straight from NASA. So I know, let me guess, they twisted that around a bit. Come on, man. Anyway, guys, just wanted to show you that. I think this was pretty cool. I wanted to share that with you. Guys, stay tuned because I want to show you what's really on Mount Sharp that they're not showing on these ground photos as far as curiosity and opportunity taking these pictures. And I'm going to show you without a doubt that this stuff is there. And you're going to love that. So, got a couple good ones coming up for you guys. Stay tuned for that. You're going to enjoy it. Anyway, guys, always appreciate you guys, commenting, sharing these videos, throwing me thumbs up. For all the newcomers, thank you for jumping on board. I really do appreciate it. It tells me that you guys are somewhat saying, hey, you know what? I agree with you. And like I said before, you guys don't have to agree with all the anomalies that I pull out and say, well, if I say it's this, you guys don't have to agree with that. I mean, really. This is the reason why I'm doing these videos, to say this is what I think it looks like. What do you guys think? I always give you guys the last word because I want to get your points of view. If you're on board here and you subscribe, that means you're trying to say, hey, look, I agree with you that something weird's going on and that NASA's not telling us the truth. Not just NASA, the ESA, China, India, they're not telling the truth. So I agree with you there. I mean, I'd agree with you, say, what these anomalies are, but I'm definitely on board with you as far as the idea of the lie. So, and this is the reason why I want your input. Simple as that. And everybody that's on the Mars team, that I consider on the Mars team, and you guys can, of course, you can go to my home channel, look at the bottom. Those are the channels that I support. And these guys are all got their own unique way of pointing things out. Again, you may not agree with them all. It's not the point. Bottom line question. What is it and why is it on Mars? That's what you got to ask yourself. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope you guys have a great day. Because I'm going to try to do my best. I'm going to knock out another video if I can, and then I've got things I got to do. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching. Always appreciated, and I'll see you next pick.